Welcome to the weekly market wrap-up. I'm Hannah Bernard. It was a choppy week for the markets as concern over a potential interest rate hike by the Fed early next year caused markets to slide. But there was also good news from IPOs to unemployment data. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get to it. All three U.S. stock indices finished only slightly down on Thursday. The Dow Jones Industrial continued its dip, finishing 21.38 points shy of break-even to close at 16,846. The S&P 500 continued its 49th consecutive day without a close of 1% higher or lower, sliding 2.31 points to close at 1,957. And the NASDAQ composite remained lower, losing just less than 1 point to close at 4,379. Now let's turn to Canadian markets, which saw the TSX advance Thursday, even as disappointing news on American consumer spending raised concerns about economic growth. The Toronto Stock Exchange gained 56.09 points to close Thursday at 15,030. And the TSX Venture Exchange continued its decline, dropping 1.90 points to 1,013. GoPro, the maker of portable high-definition video cameras, held its much-anticipated IPO Thursday, which didn't disappoint. GoPro shares, which trade under the symbol GPRO, soared over 30% in its first day of trading to close at $31.34. GoPro fans strap the HD camera to their heads or sports gear to capture and share a wide variety of extreme experiences like skateboarding, skydiving, and surfing. There is a danger that larger camera makers could eventually take notice of GoPro's niche market and enter with competitive offerings. But for now, investors are seeing the positives and hoping there's more upside. Broadcasting and media stocks surged Wednesday after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled web TV startup Aereo could no longer capture their signals and stream them over the internet to subscribers. The ruling upholds claims by broadcasters and the U.S. Justice Department that Aereo's streaming service violates broadcasters' copyrights and cuts into their retransmission fee revenue stream. It was a landmark ruling that now throws into question the business models of emerging tech companies like Aereo. Reflecting the big win for broadcasters and local TV station owners, stocks jumped across the category Wednesday. The biggest gainers were Sinclair Media up 16%, Fox up 15.6%, Media General up 10%, Gray Television up 8.4%, and CBS up 6.2%. Good news on the unemployment front this week. The U.S. Labor Department reported on Thursday the number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits declined again, with weekly benefit applications falling to a seasonally adjusted 312,000. This is the latest evidence that the sharp economic slowdown earlier this year hasn't caused employers to cut jobs. Employers added 217,000 jobs in May, the fourth straight month of gains above 200,000. The unemployment rate, which remains at 6.3%, which is the lowest in more than 5 years. Now to winners and losers in our picks for the week. The winner for this week is OHR Pharmaceutical Inc., ticker symbol OHPR. OHR shares jumped over 35% to close at $9.90 on Thursday, despite the release Tuesday of what some analysts are calling horribly negative results from a company's Phase 2 study of the company's squalane eye drops. Squalane eye drops are designed to treat the wet form of age-related macular degeneration, or wet AMD, a chronic eye disease that causes vision loss in the center of the field of vision. The loser for this week is Elizabeth Arden Inc., ticker symbol RDEN. Elizabeth Arden was our winner for the week in April on news the cosmetics maker hired Goldman Sachs to discuss a potential sale. But on Thursday, Arden shares were hammered, down 17% to close at $22.41, after South Korea's LG Household and Healthcare Ltd. said it is no longer interested in acquiring the U.S. cosmetics firm. For over 80 years, Elizabeth Arden has produced skincare products, makeup, and fragrances for women all over the world. Well, those are our winners and losers for this week, and now it's time to check in on the gains that you could have locked in by following the weekly watch list from Robert James and Viral Stocks. That's enough about this week. Now let's turn to BayStreet.ca's look at the week ahead and the snapshot of what analysts are forecasting for companies whose earnings reports are coming out next week. Now, here are 3 U.S. stocks to watch. It's a short trading week with markets closed Friday for Independence Day. So first up on Tuesday is Acuity Brands Inc. with an EPS forecast of $1.13 compared to 97 cents in the prior year quarter. Next up on Wednesday is Constellation Brands Inc. with an EPS forecast of 92 cents compared to 38 cents in the prior year quarter. Finally on Thursday is International Speedway Corp. with an EPS estimate of 50 cents compared to 51 cents in the prior year quarter. ISC's primary business is the ownership and management of NASCAR racetracks, and its ISC-owned Daytona International Speedway is set to get millions in taxpayer help under a recent bill signed by Governor Rick Scott. And now here are 3 Canadian stocks to watch next week. It's a short trading week with markets closed Tuesday for Canada Day. First up on Monday is Nyko Resources Ltd. with an EPS forecast for a loss of 23 cents compared to a loss of $1.49 in the prior year quarter. Jumping to Friday is MTY Food Inc. with an EPS forecast of 36 cents compared to 33 cents in the prior year quarter. And finishing up is Richelieu Hardware Ltd. with an EPS estimate of 65 cents compared to 58 cents in the prior year quarter. In this last quarter, Richelieu announced that consolidated sales had ballooned 8% over the same quarter the year before to $136 million, with earnings per share up 12.8% over the same period. And that wraps it up. Thanks again so much for joining us for another weekly market wrap-up. Before you head out for the weekend, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or podcast on iTunes and find us on Facebook and on Twitter. For Viral Network News and BayStreet.ca, I'm Hannah Bernard.